Hello guys, Arkan here. I just want to take some time to tell you guys that we have a Patreon set up for the channel. It's an additional way you can support us. So I will put the link in the YouTube cards and in the description. Thanks for checking it out and I hope you enjoyed the video. I see. Do we need to shower or anything? Yeah, right, this way. I follow the wolf past the toilets to another humid room. To the left is a closed door with several naked men visible through the glass. That's the sauna. I can't help but stare down Brian's shorts. You're supposed to do that naked, right? Supposed to, but I don't really trust leaving my shorts out in the open on that hook there. Damn. The showers are over here, Miles. To the right. I step onto the cold tiled floor and turn the knob in front of me clockwise. Fuck, that's cold. I jump to the side, avoiding the chilly water splashing on my body, now as Brian's voice speaks up from behind me. Yeah, the temperature is all over the place with the running water. Brian steps into the stall on my side and turns on his own shower, running his hands through the downpour. Just gotta let it warm up. After a bit, I hear the water on his side hit something other than the floor as Brian rinses the sweat off him. I check my shower and now it's scalding hot. I turn it down the middle somewhere and rinse down quickly before it becomes unbearable. Alright, I'm ready. I shake off my arms and legs, trying to make sure I'm not dripping too much. Brian brushes against my shoulder with his own, pointing ahead of me with a smile. The pools are right here. One more door down the hall. And finally, the pool room. It's huge. No wonder there's a rumor the place was built around it. This looks even bigger than what they'd used for the Animal Olympics. The pool is already full of otters doing laps back and forth non-stop in the lanes. Is it all lane swimming? There's another pool over here, but it's not as deep. Brian motions to the smaller pool off to the side with no one in it. I never noticed it when we swam together before, but he looks really nice in those swim trunks. You've been working on your swimming? Since you have swimwear for this? A little bit. Mostly for the hot tub and sauna. I roll my eyes. Right, I don't want my best bud to be drowning now, so how about I give you some tips in the kiddie pool? Don't call it that. I walk over to the shallow pool. 4 feet deep, huh? I guess that's okay. I put on my goggles, take a deep breath, and hop in. Splash! Everything's muted just for a moment, other than the bubbles rising up around me. But it's also only 4 feet, so I stretch my legs and I bounce up immediately. Yeah. My face breaks the water and I feel amazing. Not many people would ever think a cat would take the water. But for some reason, I could never get enough. It's just relaxing. I start swimming all the way to the other side of the pool. God, I needed that. I turn around and see Brian slowly stepping in. For a wolf, he never really acclimated to water. I convinced him to take swimming lessons a few times, but the important part is to consistently do it. Just like working out. Huh? I hear a shout from across the pool. You okay there, Miles? Brian was in the water now, waving at me, his arms making tiny splashes in the water from the motion. Yeah, I was just thinking about something. I yell back. The sable lifeguard gives us a stern look as if to say, stop shouting in the pool. I wade over back to my best friend and give him a hug. Whoa, what's got you so cuddly now? I think I kinda like your hugs better when you were exercising. Brian returns the hug even tighter. I can feel his heartbeat. Oh yeah? What about the sauna then? That'll warm me right up. Something about the way he said that hit me. I can feel myself getting hard again. Thankfully, we're not pressed up that tight to one another. As long as you don't drown before then. Hey, I know how to doggy paddle. I let go and start freestyling to the other side, kicking up water and waves against the wolf. Show me then. I swim all the way to the other side of the shallow pool. I turn around and Brian is swimming doggy paddle after me. Not very fast, but it's an instinctive style. Huh. See? I could swim now. He's barely keeping his head above the water and is likely using a lot of energy doing so at the speed he's going. Crazy Wolf probably has more stamina than me even after all that exercise. He managed to paddle all the way over to me, splashing some water on my face. He's gasping for air while also somehow trying to look cool. Bleh! Huh! 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 So, how do you like my swimming? I cross my arms as the wolf in front of me coughs up some more water. Very energy intensive. Do you know how to float on your back yet? If you get tired while swimming, it's a good way to take a little break. And it's the first step to doing a backstroke. Yeah, sure. I sink like a rock, though. It's all that muscle, Brian. Keeps you dense. Oh, so you want a little more pudge on me? He sticks his tongue out at me, giving a little nudge with his body that makes the water around me a little more turbulent. Nah, you don't need fat, just technique. Here, I'll show you first. I turn my back to the open water and lay down, stretching my limbs out as I begin to float along the water. I make sure to tilt my head, keeping my snoot above the water, rippling around me. And now I'm floating. When you spread your body out, you float. You do have to wave your arms a bit to keep balance, but the important part is to not freak out and think you're sinking. Freak out? Me? I stand back up and lean against the pool wall next to him. Yes, you. I remember the last time you chased me into the ocean and that hyena lifeguard had to rescue you. I have to squeeze out the next few words between some escaping chuckles. And then you screamed even louder when he got you. You still remember that? How could I not? The wolf in front of me actually looks embarrassed from that. I guess the hyena was pretty cool about it, though. Yeah, you wanna try floating now? Ready as I'll ever be. Brian turns around, arms spread and ready to fall over. I figure I should wade over beside him and offer the poor dog some assistance. Trust fall? Trust fall. He lets himself go, a little too hard, and I catch him in my arms. Even with the water, I can still feel his weight pull me down a bit. I wonder if he can actually do this. Oh, that is nice. Okay, deep breaths, Brian. Now spread your arms and legs. He closes his eyes and slowly follows my directions. I take one of my arms to rest on his chest. His heart is a bit fast, but not like at his workout peak. I think it's safe to let him go and find out if he's got this, gently releasing my arms from his body. And he floats, his body gently rocking in tune with the movement in the water. But then I notice his torso beginning to sink below the water a bit. Brian, wave your arms. Kick your feet maybe. Keeps you floating. His arm bumps into my side. Guess I better move out of the way, so I slide around to the top of his head. See? It's not that hard. You're floating on your own now. My paws touch his face. I smile down at him, proud. His eyes are closed, but he smiles back as well. I turn my head to make sure the rest of his body is doing good. It looks like Brian's really enjoying this. Something's rising in his trunks. Oh. Probably just some bubbles, right? Right? Just stand up when you're done. I can feel my face flush. Good to know it's not just me getting these workout boners. That's normal, right? The wolf splashes a bit before he gets his footing back. Thanks for the lesson, Miles. It's a lot easier to do in a safe environment like this. We can try more stuff later. The wolf makes a nervous cough. Assuming you want to work out here too. Yeah, assuming. There's a strong chance, I think. As long as you come with me, though. I give Brian a playful little smile, enjoying him being so unexpectedly anxious about all this. Yeah, Brian raises his arms behind his head. He looks kinda red. I think I'm done working out now. You wanna check out the sauna before we go? Yeah, that's supposed to be like the relaxation thing, right? Kinda. You gotta like stay in there to roast, then cool down with a cold shower. It can be pretty intense. Not too sure about the cold shower, but I'll check it out. Brian heads to the ladder to get out of the pool and I follow. I notice him trying to do the same kind of adjustment to hide his boner that I do as he steps up. I couldn't help but smirk as I follow him. The otters in the big pool are still going around doing laps. I can't imagine the stamina it must take to go at it that hard for so long. One of them stops midway to give a thumbs up to Brian. He has a striking star pattern on both his shoulders. I almost didn't catch Brian returning the thumbs up with his tail wagging like crazy behind him. The otter flashes a smirk at Brian before taking off back into the pool. Brian starts messing with his trunks again. I quickly catch up to him and walk beside him right as he finishes adjusting. Hey, what was that about? Me being beside Brian seems to have made him jump a little as he recollects himself. Just one of my coworkers. I'll introduce you to him sometime. The wet taps of our paws announce our return to the shower hall. Brian quickly slides over to the nearby water fountain and guzzles so much you'd think he was a fish. I guess I could use a drink myself too. Brian wipes his muzzle and moves over, and I drink my own fill. Gulp, gulp. Gulp. It's crazy how delicious water is after you've exerted yourself. I look over to Brian, but he's nowhere to be seen. I hear a door squeak close. Guess he's already in the sauna. I grab the handle. It's hot, really hot, but I manage to pull it open quickly and follow him in. It's moist. A lot more than the shower or locker rooms. And this heat, he wasn't kidding. It's like I'm in an oven. Brian is at the far end of one of the benches here. He spots me and smiles. I quickly head over and take a seat next to him. Phew. So now what? I don't know. Want to just chill? Don't you mean warm up? He flashes me a dumb grin. True, true. What do you think so far? About what? The gym. I swear, he's looking at me with the puppy dog eyes for my answer. Oh yeah, I think it's pretty exhausting. His ears droop. But in a good way. Back up and excited. I don't have nearly as much stamina as you do, though. The only way to get more is to run a lot. Or swim. That too. I pause, an unexpected sigh escaping my lips. I wonder... Wonder what? You happy being a hunter? Yeah, I'd say so. It's one of the oldest professions, you know. Dangerous, but you'll never be out of a job. Sounds exciting. I kick my feet a little as we sit together in silence. Maybe I could do that? I'm not as strong enough yet, but maybe a few months in the gym could change that. And miss out on free soda and chips? If I keep this up, my dad's shop is gonna be my shop Sunday. I sigh, leaning back on my seat. It's really hot. I don't know if I want that kind of life. Brian looks at me conflicted for a bit, before suddenly hopping off his seat. Well, I can show you some of what I do as a hunter if you really want it. Maybe you'll get a better idea of what you really want. It'll be hard work, but we can start right here. He holds his arms out, his fur is already glistening from the sweat thanks to this hot as hell place. In the sauna? Yeah, it's easy. Meow! The wolf suddenly moves to grab me by my shoulders and pins me down on the bench. Ugh! Surprisingly, it didn't hurt. He must be being careful with me. First lesson, always take your prey by surprise. His grip is firm on me. He really wants to tussle in here? With everything he's been through today, he's probably more tired than I am. Maybe I could turn this little game of his around. Oh? Brian's eyes widen as I give a hard push, literally flipping the tables on him as I keep him held down on the bench, now on top of him. Ha! How do you like that? I'm not able to gloat too long. My arms start shaking from the workouts from earlier before they completely give out and I collapse on top of the wolf. I guess today really exhausted me too. But I still got a good grip on him, if this hug counts. His wet arms wrap around me, returning my hug tightly. I can feel the brush of his tail trying to wag between his legs. God, we're moist as hell in here. A sweaty pile of friends. Who knows where his fluids end and mine begin in this oven we're in. Wait, is he rubbing my back with his... Is he rubbing my back with his hug? I can feel both our hearts beating together, getting faster and faster. Is it getting hard to breathe in here? What if... What if I lick him on his shoulder? Oh! His body shudders. Mmm. It's salty, but sweet. Miles, what did you... Brian's eyes are wide looking at me, our chests both heaving against each other. And they aren't the only things pressing together. I lift myself off him and we both look down at the ever more tightening prison of our trunks. Fuck. Wait, is there anyone else here or... Brian grabs my head and locks his muzzle with mine, my eyes widen at the sudden intrusion, but I don't resist. Oh my gosh, it's getting on. Let's get it on. Okay, so I ran into some trouble on YouTube for this line, so I will just not read it out loud. It almost feels like he's pouncing on my tongue with his own, trying to lay claim to it before he releases me, leaving me stunned. Sorry, I've never really done this. Okay, so this line might also be too sexual for me to mention on YouTube, so I will not read it out loud. Really? I'd figure you'd get a girl or something. I never really thought about it myself. I feel my heart beat wildly in my chest. This line also might be too questionable, so I will not also read it out loud. But I wouldn't mind doing it with my best friend. Brian exhales out of his nose, eyes wide. I wouldn't be surprised to see steam coming out of his every breath with how excited and wild his face was as he stared at me. Alright, Miles, time for one more workout. Before we end the video, I would like to give a massive thank you to our patrons. Your support means more than the world to us. It means the galaxy to us. Check out patreon.com/arkandre07 to be a patron today. Ciao!